Hello, it's been a while. Hi, I'm Siris, in case you're new to the page and new to me. Um, I've been having some really interesting conversations. Hopefully you've been live. This is connecting. Hi. Looks like it's live now. So yes, I'm Siris, and I'm looking to talk to y'all today about something that's been coming up quite a bit in my talks and conversations with my own people, my personal circle of people, my clients, and also in the worlds of my clients as we're talking about how they're interacting with people. I want to ask you a question. I'm not going to take too much of your time today. And for some of you, it's first thing in the morning if you're in Australia, New Zealand. For others of you in the United States, it's the end of your day and maybe you're winding down. But I wanted for you to look at this question with me for a couple moments. I've been sitting with what are people doing with their communication? And I want you to look at for yourself, are you communicating for you or for them or for something else? So what does it look like when you're communicating for you? It's about what you want. It's about your agenda. It's about your desires, your hopes, your dreams. You want to make sure that you're feeling heard and seen, that people know what you are looking for, what you would like for them to do, what is making you sad or worried, your stresses, things like that. That can build some rapport. It doesn't build rapport if it's all about what you want and all about your desires, all about your dreams, and nothing about the other person that's involved in the dynamic that's in. And applies to all types of relationships, from work relationships, romantic, family relationships, all of that, and friendships included. So consider that. If are you always seeing I statements and it's really and the perspective is always I versus I, so that you're not doing the accusatory you when you're talking about things? Are you communicating for them to make sure they're happy, to make sure they're comfortable, to make sure that their needs are being met, that they're feeling heard, that they're feeling seen, that they see and know that you are taking into account their hopes, their dreams? Okay? This both sounds like, oh, would be lovely, right? Like if you've done some of this work on your communication, give me a thumbs up in the chat. Be like, yeah, I've been looking at this. I've been looking at how to express myself. I've been looking at how to take into account the other person's perspective and point of view. If that's some of the journey, the steps that you've taken to be a better communicator, acknowledge that. Give yourself a thumbs up. Now, the same thing goes with when we were mentioning communicating for yourself. If it's always about the other person and you're communicating always for them and you're not including yourself in the dynamic, that's when problems can show up. That's when it can be a really not so fun slippery slope. And then next thing you know, you're like, how did I get here? How is it that I'm so unhappy, or that I don't feel seen, I don't feel heard, I'm not really including my needs aren't being met? If you don't express your needs, if you don't talk about your hopes and dreams and your worries, how would the other person know? At least if it's somebody that's willing to receive that, which is a whole other conversation we're not going to get into today. Okay? Now, what my hope is, and what a lot of people don't do, is the third option, which is when you actually communicate for the relationship. You communicate for the benefit of everyone involved. So it's not one or the other, it's the whole shebang, the people in totality. So this could be all these individual people in a family, and then looking at the whole family, so that it's not only about one or two people's needs being met, but the entire family growing and thriving and loving. It could be a work dynamic where it's not just the boss, or not just the person that's the higher up, the manager, or even the underlings, which is a horrible word in my opinion, that are below, that maybe don't get seen and heard. It's not only about them, it's the whole workspace dynamic, and looking at what's the communication that's required for everyone in the workspace to feel heard and seen, and for that entity in totality, that company, to move forward in a sustainable way, so that everyone is actually enjoying their job and feeling heard, and they get the input from everybody so that we're not missing anything. All right. And the same thing goes for romantic relationships. Are you communicating with just about your needs? And then when you're doing that, are you forgetting the other person because you're so busy about, oh, I have to make sure that I tell them this and I tell them that, and they have to know about my life. They have to know about this. And this is really common, especially for people who maybe have shut down their voice for so much of their life that they go to the other extreme. They go from not having a voice and not really speaking up to maybe talking too much and forgetting that there's another person involved. There's another person there, and they don't always want to be talked at. They want to maybe have a little bit more bing, boom, bing, boom, bing, boom, bing. Okay? And so when you're doing the bing, boom, bing, are both people listening? Are both people taking into account the perspectives of the other person? Are both people thinking about the whole relationship instead of just their perspective or just the other person's perspective? When you're looking at just the other person's perspective, it's a slippery slope because it can fall into a lot of codependent patterns or people pleasing. And that's, as many of you have been hearing about, and we've talked about this on the Choosing a Different Future show quite a bit with myself personally, but also with guests that have really given you some really great tools around this as well. It's so sneaky. It's so pervasive that it can sneak up on you and you don't even realize that you're doing it, because it can be something that's in your subconscious that you're doing unconsciously. So look at this for yourself. Ask yourself, and when I'm communicating, am I communicating for me? Am I communicating for them? Or am I communicating for the whole shebang, for the entire relationship or the entire space that all these people are involved in? And I invite you to look and take steps more toward the last one. We need to include both the first and the second to do the last one, but then the last one is really something that's more sustainable, and it's acknowledging that the relationship is its own being that needs nurturing. Just like you as an individual needs nurturing, the other person as an individual needs nurturing. Well, so does the relationship. And there's certain tasks and activities that are required to nurture and to have something flourish. That's a relationship that's different than for an individual. And some people are so busy taking care of themselves or so busy taking care of the other person that they don't actually nurture the relationship, and then they are surprised when the relationship ends unexpectedly. Okay? Let me know what your questions are. Let me know what you think about this video. And if you'd like to know more about this topic, I invite you to join us in the Speak Fluent You series that is going to happen starting Tuesday, February 27th. It's going to be online virtually and streamed all over across the world just for the people that are registered. And there is both a free option and a VIP option, and I'm going to include that link at the end of this video, but it's also under our events. So facebook.com/empoweringlightlanguage/events or my website empoweringlightlanguage.com/events. You'll find that information there. Reach out. I love hearing from y'all, and I really hope you ask yourself this question, because this is super important. If you don't look at this, then you may be using communication that you think is actually creating one thing when it's creating something completely different than what you want. All right, until next time, bye for now.